Hey everyone. So this is Chris. Hi, aka the Funky Functor. So yes, today I will keep on working on the language parsing feature that I have. So basically, the idea. Hang on. Just give me 1 second. Yeah. So the idea is going to be that our user for the bot will be able to define their own specific methods and variables and just use them to use these methods and variables so that they can do well whatever they want really. So I'm going to modify a few things. Right now, I created a few tests, and I used a tutorial I found using the Scala library, and I'm going to be using this. I'm going to be using this library. So right now, it seems that and that I can do simple additions, which is already pretty good. But there are a few things that I need to do to make this better. So for example, I will need to account for specific errors in the logic, not in the syntax itself, which the parser is going to handle without any problem. But I want to be sure that if there is a problem with the syntax, let's say for example that I have a method that has more arguments than or not enough arguments, I will need to be able to get to get a reply informing me about this. I also need to test a few cases. So let me share my screen right now. There we go. So right now, for example, I've been using so right now I have a possibility to assign strings and numbers of for now considered as strings. So I have a possibility to enter hello 123 that is going to be parsed as a string 123 1.23 which is again going to be parsed as 1.23 which is good and I am going to okay here I am missing the ending double quotes, so that's why this one is not supposed to be working. Okay, so right now let's put somewhere what I need to do. So there are a few things that I need to improve. So let's say, for example, um, right now, what is happening is that if I do an assignment, the value that is going to be returned is going to be the value for the assignment. So like for example, right now, if I do val test equals 123, that is not going to be working. Oh, I just thought about a test that I forgot. So let's do a test. So my variables should not be able to start them with, let's say, in number. So let's say bad variable name like this. I should have a possibility. I don't remember. Should I offer the possibility to have to start with an underscore? That is actually a good question. I'm gonna do that. So here, I just need to modify this. And as I said, I should not have the possibility to be doing this. However, should I have a possibility to have an underscore as my... So here, this one is gonna break for now. Should it break though? That's actually a good question. So I'm gonna go back to the parser, And the way my identifier is, okay, so here that says my identifier starts with a character that goes from A to Z and capital and lowercase and an underscore. So that one should be working as well. Let's modify the test so that this works as well. Pop, pop, pop. There we go. I'm just gonna copy this whole thing, Control C, and do that. And then I want to do this underscore test and then underscore test. So that should work. There we go. So let's Control S. I am going to run a test. Hopefully everything should be green. If not, then I need to investigate why. Okay, everything's green. So my test is working. Okay, that's good. So next thing I need to do, I'm going to do some evaluations. So here I am going to test evaluating additions. Evaluating additions. Okay. So I am going to have multiple different tests. The first one. So I want to test that 1 plus 1 equals 2. That should be easy enough, but so 1 plus 1, and here that should be returning 2. The next thing I want to test is I want to make sure that, so right now, what my code is doing is if a string, if an expression can be parsed into a big decimal, then in that case, well, if the two expressions in an addition can be parsed into a big decimal, then that means that we try to do the addition. And if one of the expressions otherwise is a string, one of both of the expression is a string, then we do a string concatenation. So if I try to do this, so I need to escape my double quotes like this, and I'm gonna do hello, and here the result should be hello 1. Okay. Next thing is kind of similar, but I need to make sure that that works both ways. So I'm gonna do 1 plus hello, and here I should be getting 1 hello like this. And we're gonna do the hello world test. So hello plus world. Where is it? Oh, yes, I need to escape my double quotes first. And I'm gonna put a space like this. So hello world. Okay, good. Okay. I need to get rid of these and operators. I am going to change the name of this variable and say that I want to test this into my test suite. So that is my parser test. So evaluating additions. Let's do that. Running. And I am going to probably modify the name for that to simple, because the next step for me is going to be trying to make additions, but this time with either functions, the result of a function. Let's say, for example, right now I define a function like this, 1, 2, 3, and I want to return. I want to get the value and so on. Okay, so private. We're gonna do this. So Control C. I'm gonna do this one here. Okay. So I need to define a value, and are my values separated by? Yes, they are separated by semicolon. Okay, so I need to do val t equal 1. semicolon, and then val u. Hey, football. Oh, that's interesting. So yeah, as I mentioned, Foot, I created I did a small parser during the weekend because basically what I am going to have is I have my bots which I will be able to be sending commands, and I want to have a very tiny little language to which I can assign variables and call methods and get these methods being evaluated. So I thought that it would be interesting for me to do some text parsing and this kind of stuff. And right now I am just working on the different tests for this. So it's nothing too interesting, but I thought that since I will be touching this, it might be interesting as well. So val t equal 1, value equals 1, and then I do t plus u, and that should return 2. Yeah, it's what language are you using to do this? Because I have to admit, at first I was a bit lost, but I found a very nice library in Scala to allow me to do that. And also, well, if we use Java, you can always be using Antler, which is pretty nice as well. I kind of like this. It is Java, so I'm not too crazy about it, but still pretty good. Mm. So then the next thing I want to do is I want to do so val f equal. So this one is going to be a function that returns that takes nothing as an argument, and it returns 1. So I'm just going to go back to how a function should be defined. It should be defined like this. Okay, so function with the arguments and then a value and semicolon to escape val f2. This one should be available. I'm using JS. I made a web-based front end for StreamTech like clone. The bound runs inside, so I figured I'd just use one language throughout the whole thing. Oh, nice! Plus, with JavaScript, it should be easier than these languages such as Scala and Java, which are way more typed than JavaScript. So that should be a bit more lenient with this. So here, can I? Oh, let's try to do that because I haven't tried to do this. Let's try to see if I can do f1 plus f2, and that should be returning 2 if everything works fine. So I have a function here. Function da da da. Oh, so I need to call f1 without any argument because otherwise it's going to be searching for a variable and not for a, and here I need to do the same. So yeah. Oh yeah. Rapid prototyping in JavaScript and Python is done so well. I personally love Scala because the type system is super strong, and I don't even know half of it, but I love how you can catch at compile time. Let's say, for example, that you have a negative number and you don't in something there where you don't want to have any negative numbers, or if you want to have a non-empty list and things like this. It sounds stupid, but when you catch it at compile time, that makes your code so much more stable than otherwise. It is amazing. I really like that. So I am testing right now. I got two values that have been assigned. I am mixing a value and and in a function, so that should be working fine, I guess. That is pretty advanced already. Let's try that. And when the addition works, I will try to go and modify and add a subtraction and so subtraction, and what is the other one? Multiplication, and maybe even implement the divisions. Divisions is going to be interesting because I need to account for the case where I try to divide by 0 and I want to have I want to have an error being returned instead of just returning a default value. So that's going to be interesting as well. All right, so test 105. I am going to add it to the list of tests I want to run. Okay, 0, 1, 5, like that. So var f1 equal function da da da, and so that should return 1 and not take any arguments. Val f2 equal okay, and this one should return 2. Okay, let's try to run this guy. Yes, everything seems to be working. Okay, good. Let's try to take almost the same example now. And I am going to make this a bit more complicated. So we are going to do... so right now I have this. I want to get... I'm going to take almost the same thing. So I'm going to take a simple function like this. F2. And this time I pass an argument a and I want to return the value a. And if I pass f2 of 1, I expect it to be returning 1 and do the addition with f1, which itself is already returning 1. So testing yet something else. Okay, so let's try to run this guy. And it works. Wow, that is way more solid than I expected it to be. All right. Oh, something I forgot to test. Let's see. So in my passes, I have numbers, and these numbers, did I account? Yeah, so they should be either positive or negative. And I haven't tested these plus and minus, so I probably should. Let's think about it. Yeah, let's try that. So let's go back to my test. So that is for variable assignations, no, parsing text. So this one should be easy enough. So I'm gonna take that. So with a plus and with a minus. So here I'm gonna be plus, and that should be returning 1, 2, 3. And so this one should be with a minus, and I need to do the same thing here without the decimal point, so that I see if something breaks. And so that should be returning a string of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yep. Okay, so let's try to run this guy. Hopefully that will work. Oh, it doesn't. So right now, I am returning plus 1, 2, 3. Oh. So I probably need to get rid of the plus sign before, I guess. Yeah, I probably do. Okay, so when I parse my number, where is it? So integer, decimal. So this gets in the number. So this is number. Here I test is that a number or a string, and okay. And then I try to map it to an expression string. So here I need to modify my mapping a tiny bit. And instead, I'm going to do two steps. So the final right now that is similar to be doing this. Instead, what I want to do is I want to have var cleanse string, I guess, equal. So let's do if str starts with and then put a plus, then in that case I want to have str dot substring. So I want to start and at level 1, otherwise else I want to have str. And right now the expression that I want is going to be clean str or clean str. Okay. So that should be a tiny bit better. And if that works, then I will move this function to my expression so that I clean this up a bit. Okay, so let's try to run this. Hopefully that should work. So it's still not working. So here I have minus 1, 2, 3. Oh, did I forget? Did I make a mistake with the, yeah. So this one should be minus and that one should be minus as well because I've put a minus before. Good. All right, so let's try again. Okay, so that works. Okay, good. So I need to account for these in my test. So let's try to do these simple assignations, and I want to account for I need to account for negative values. So let's do that. So this one, I'm trying to do 1 plus minus 1, and that should be returning 0. And we're going to do the other way around as well. So I want to test minus 1 plus 1. And here that should, in either cases, that should return 0. Okay, so let's try to run this guy. And it works. Okay, so that seems to be passed properly. That's good. All right, so, okay. So yes, as I said, I need to change my parser so that this ugly thing is not there anymore. So I'm gonna move it to a separate place like that. So this is in XPR. XPR contains all of my case classes that I use to represent my abstract syntax tree. So here I need to do a def to str. It will take a string as an input, and I'm going to call the string str, and it will return a str. So str is the string representation in my abstract syntax tree. Yeah, take your time, Foot. No worries. No worries. So I am taking this the string, and I need to transform it into an str. And basically, what I need to do is just copy this whole thing here. Good. And good. All right. So that's exactly the same. Now I need to call this to str. So in my parser, whenever I get this, I'm going to call. So this is in the class, in the object expression dot and to str, like this. So what I'm saying is, if you find a number or a string, pass it to str, which is going to clean it up. And in our case, it's going to just remove the first plus sign that we have, and then try to run that. Okay, so I'm going to try to run this guy again, just to make sure that I didn't break stuff. And everything seems to be working. Sweet, 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 sweet. Okay, good. All right, so next step is I have two choices. Either I can work on the built-in methods. So built-in methods basically they are when I want to have a certain amount of methods available out of the box. So let's say, for example, a user wants to call the now method to get the time it is right now. So I can just call now and get the value out of it. Okay. Or yeah, no. Let's for now. Let's keep it simple. I am going to add subtractions, multiplications, and divisions. And divisions, as I said, is going to be interesting because I need to account for the case when I am returning an error in case I try to divide stuff by 0. So that is going to be interesting. So first, let's add this new thing in my abstract syntax tree, my AST. So it will look very similar to what I have for plus. So I am going to add this sub like this. Cool. Then I need to have a parser. So this parser is going to be the same as plus, like that. So I need to do this, and I just need to change the sign to a minus. And then plus is, where is it used? It is used here. So expression, so I need to say, okay, so I've got this prefix expr appended to plus rep. So if rep is null, then I return e. Okay, let's do a plus expr. So def plus expr, and that is going to be the same as the parser here. So okay, so plus expr equal. So I want to do this. Where is it? So I have this thing here. So prefix expr tilde that. So okay. And then here I want to, okay. So I need to use this weird syntax, which I have to give you a good disclaimer. I'm not quite sure what this underscore P does. I should look it up, but all the examples I had were using it, so that's why I am using it. So here plus expr. So if I have something with an expression that starts and then I have a plus, then I'm going to use that. I will be using the same thing for the subtraction. So sub sub expr sub expression, and here that's going to be sub sub. Oh, I called this one plus, so this one should be called sub instead. Sub.rep. So here I'm going to say okay, so if I find a plus, then I'm going to assign it to a plus. Yeah. I understand my mistake. So I need to do a quick rollback. So I'm going to be using this because I still want to call that. However, I'm just going to change the name here. And so why is it complaining? Oh yes. Before I need to copy this back into my change, then I can change the name for that. Okay. And then here I'm going to say that could be either I can parse it can be a plus expression or a sub expression. And so sub expression I haven't defined yet. So first of all, let's make this private so that it's not exposed to the rest of the world. I don't want the rest of the world to know about this plus expr. I just want to know about my expr, which is my expression that evaluates stuff. So okay, so let's do that. I'm gonna call this one sub expr, and so the parser needs to match prefix with sub dot representation, and then I am going to be using expr dot sub as the value that gets returned. Cool, I guess. Let's think about it for a second. I'm not sure why plus should be. That is kind of complicated, the way they did, because I took this completely straight from the tutorial, and the problem is, so right now we have an element and we assign it to the rest. So we pass a list here, but when we try to analyze this in plus here, what we are doing is I'm calling this add sequence, and add sequence tests for test for these things. So if I have here if my sequence is null, which should never be the case, should never be the case. That would make it simpler if I was passing instead of passing an add sequence. Let's see. So where is plus? Plus is here, and I've got items. So for items, for each item, I want to evaluate it within the scope, and then once I've got the evaluation back, if it is a string, which it always be, returns s as a string. So I'm going to change the definition of plus so that it takes a head like this, and it's going to be an expression, and a tail like this, and it's also going to be taking an expression. And so in my value now it's going to break. So here I've got head and tail. So what am I doing? I am going to change the signature for add sequence so that now we have a string, which is always going to be here, and it's going to be my head. And I have here a tail, it, which is going to be like that. So I don't have any sequence anymore. Oh, I was forgetting the like this. So I don't have any sequence anymore. I don't have this. That greatly simplifies stuff. So let's get rid of that. I don't have that. So that simplifies as well. And so that still returns a value. So, okay. So what I'm doing is now I try to do a fold left on the heads. So I try to fold my list with head as the first element. And okay, that greatly that simplifies everything. Sweet. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Okay. So I have this thing here. I will be modifying subtract sequence is going to be the same. So now I have a head. Before I do that, do my passes. Yeah, so I am passing en items. What would be interesting is if I try to do a plus with let's try to run this test. So first of all, I think everything should compile, even though I'm not completed. I don't have anything breaking, do I? Yes, I do. Okay. Not enough arguments for method add sequence. So that is in value 1641. So value 1641. Yeah. Okay. So I need to here. I need to do first of all evaluate head with the given scope. Then I want to do the tail and I want to evaluate this. And okay, I get it. I get why he tries to do this map afterwards. So let's modify this a bit. So right now I am getting a value and a sequence of values, and I want to make sure that my value is a string. So I am just going to take change the signature so that this add sequence takes a value instead of doing this. Let's think. Yeah. So add sequence, and instead of a string, I have a value, and instead of a tail, I have a tail of values. Okay, so that is going to break, which should be okay. So here I'm going to be calling this one head value and tail value, so that way I know what is what. And so val, let's think about it. So first of all, val tail equals, so now I've got tail value dot map, and I'm just going to map everything. So case in case it is a value dot string of if that contains a string, what I'm doing is just doing this. I'm just returning this s. Oh, is it not? Oh, maybe I need to use curly braces. Let's do that. So yeah. Okay, and so head, I need to transform head into a into a so did I already put in my values? Values could be an error. Cool. Let's put this as an optional option throwable here. So if I don't have anything before my plus, okay, so let's think about it. Okay, so val. So val add value. No, val head. So there are gonna be two choices: head value match. And so if my head value case, so if my head value is a string, is a value.str of, in that case, it's going to be containing heads, I can do everything as usual. No worries, no surprises. It's doing all good. Oh, I am expecting, so there is a mistake somewhere. Oh yeah, I'm forgetting to close that. So if I have a head that is defined, then that is good. Okay. Otherwise, so here I'm just going to surround this with curly braces just to be on the safe side. I don't, strictly speaking, I don't really need them in Scala, but that allows me to think about it better. So here, that means that my head is not a string. So most probably that it is empty and we have problems. So in that case, what do I do? So case. So if um, if I don't have anything, then I am going to define I'm probably going to do pretty much the same thing as I did here. So I am going to copy that. I just need to change the value for head. Okay, so I don't need this whole thing here. I don't need that. I just need val head. So val head is, I am expecting a string. So let's force this to be evaluated as a string. And so I've got head value match. So I have two cases. The first case is, as we saw earlier, case value.str, which should always return my value. So here I'm going to return str, no worries, everything's fine. If I don't find anything before, that means that I am, so that should be evaluated to a 0, because 0 plus whatever else is always going to be 0. And then the rest here behaves as expected. So that closes here, that one closes there. Value 652. I am missing something, I guess. So I have this val assigned body. Parse head tail. Oh yeah. Uh, yeah, I was forgetting. Yeah. Okay. So my add sequence remains the same. This thing here, like that. Okay, good. So I have my tail value. I'm retrieving all the strings, and then I take all these strings and I try to do a fold left with these, and that should be that returns. Okay. Okay, so I think I'm in the case I don't have anything before, that should return a 0 instead. All right, so let's put a test for that. So addition. So in my additions, if I try to do a so test. Well, I'm gonna copy this whole thing here, paste it. So nothing plus 1. That should be returning 1. We're going to do the same thing here with -1 instead. So here plus and then -1. And that should be returning -1. So Control S. And let's try to run this guy. So back to run and try to do that. Okay, so I have a problem here, evaluating additions. And so str1, and instead I am getting space 1. Oh. So should I so that is on line 61. So this thing here, instead of returning str of 1, is returning str of space 1. Interesting. So why is it returning space 1? Should I remove? Yeah, I'm going to do that. So when I transform, where is it? Where is that? So when I transform everything, so I've got this expr2 string. What I'm going to do is I need to remove first. Yeah, I will need to remove for string val trimmed equals, so str dot I think trim is the one that removes everything before and after, right? Let's see, it returns a string whose value is this string with all the leading and trailing spaces removed, where space is defined as any character whose quote point is less than or equal to. I have a problem about this, is that technically, if I use double quotes, then I should not be able to parse it like this. So let's go back to my parsers, and I am just going to separate numbers and strings, because strings must always be surrounded with double quotes, while numbers don't have to. So yeah. So I'm just going to move that to string, and yes, okay. So right now I was doing this, so this one is going to be map expression to string and in number. Yeah, and I want to do a map of, so I take an str and I want to return and the expression to string of str.trim instead. So hopefully that should work. Let's try. So everything compiles. That's a good sign. And it still doesn't work. Okay, so here that still gives me an space 1. Why does it give me a space 1 when it should be giving me huh? So okay. Let's think about it. So this is not, this is getting evaluated. It's just not being evaluated properly. So why is it not being evaluated properly? Do I have the possibility maybe to display my abstract syntax tree that gets generated? That would be useful. No. So right now I've got this input string is that. Okay, good. What is, so this is being used by this test expression evaluation. And so I have this evaluation here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is if, so if this condition is not true, then I want to display. So if the evaluation result to string is not expected, then what I want to do is I want to do a system r print line of AST. So AST for, and I'm going to pass my input is, and then let's surround it. I'm also going to surround the input into quotes so that I can visualize it better. And so here, I want to get expr dot value, no, expr, I think. What is that? Yeah. Okay, so so expr is the abstract syntax tree that gets returned. Okay, so AST for input is that. And by the way, let's rename that to something a bit more meaningful. AST expr. Okay. So if I try to run that, at least I should be able to see what kind of AST I'm getting and where the problem might be. Okay, so yeah, let's take a look at my tests. So AST for +1 is string is space +1, space 1. Huh, okay. Why though? Let's see, do I have something? Why? So what could be? Let's think about it. So what could match this? Hidden zero is here, and here I'm just catching everything that starts with A to Z. So that is an identifier. This one should start with a double quote. So that is not it. Decimal is, I could be starting with a plus or a minus, an optional one. And then I can have characters 0 to 9. And then I have a dot and then characters while in 0 to 9 with a minimum of 0. So one dot should be equal to 1. Which, by the way, did I test that? I did not. Okay, let's try. So I need to test if I don't pass anything before. So this one should return dot 23. And if I don't pass anything after the dot, which should be 1 or 1 dot. I think 1 dot actually. It's still gonna take the dot. Okay. So, and that was breaking on the plus. So this one and that one are failing. Let's comment them out. I just want to make sure that this is tested and working, and that I'm not adding new problems. Okay, so that is returning what I think should be returning. However, I have this plus. So plus should be matching. So let's go back to my parsers. Plus should be parsing the plus as I indicate here. So here and then prefix expression. Okay. Let's see. This prefix expression is a combination of call expression and what is call rep. Okay. So let's think about it. What is call exp? So call exp could be either a string as defined here, a local, which is prefixed with val, a func, which is a function, an identity, oh, could it be no. No, because otherwise that wouldn't be passed as a string. Yeah, that would appear as an identity. So it is something to do here. For debugging purposes, I am going to try to capture this E and these items. So system error dot print line. There we go. So here I want to say value for E is so yeah, So I don't need the curly braces around. And value for items is, and then items like this. Okay. Did I make them? Yeah. Okay. So they are runnable, and hopefully I should be able to be gathering more information about why this is failing. Good. So AST for +1 is str1, but okay. So here it says value for E is str and then space 1, and value for items is list. I don't get it. So this thing, this part is seen as a string, but it should only consider the second, the one and not the whole thing. That's so my string should be either a number or string 0. Huh. So what should I do? Should I? Let's try. Let's think. Am I calling str0? Okay, let's try this. So str to string. No, str. And here I am going to say system print line value found dollar $str. Okay, it's a kind of ugly, but I will try to get this so that I can see. So okay, so AST for +1 is str of 1, str of 1, and I don't see value found for this. Yeah, I found value found hello. So my here, this here is okay. So that is my guess is that this tilde, because I am using white spaces, accepts the white space because I have a plus or minus before. Okay, so let's think about it. So why, and maybe take a look at the documentation for fast parse. So I have this, da da da, and can I say, what is filter? So I need to have this car predicate repeat at least once and then that, which actually would match my, and then I can map it to ints. Okay. And then that would give me all the even numbers. So how different is that? So right now I say cars while in 0 to 9. So why? So I have this P. Okay. Let's go back to the documentation. So I have P of that. So I either want to capture my, so number is defined as a decimal or an integer. So here I am getting what matches my decimal or integer. Should I? Let's try to surround this with a P like that. And that should only take, I believe, but I'm not 100% sure. I believe that it should give me only the part I am interested in. Let's try. So running. Everything compiles, still doesn't work. So that is not it. So and what does this? What does the forward slash mean again? So forward slash, so that is the definition of the language. So this here is the tutorial I'm using for my staff. Hey Kiro. So right now I am trying to remember. So parsing terminals, okay. Note how we use the tilde tilde forward slash operator after the double quote, open quote. The tilde tilde means we do not want to consume white space here, since we're inside a string, and the forward slash is a fast path cut, meaning we want to avoid backtracking if the pass fails. Okay, let's have a look at that. I might just be what we need. Let's try to use a forward slash n. Thanks. Yeah, usually I try to do something a bit more functional. But right now I'm just doing some parsing. It's just having fun. How are you? What is your background? How do you know the word funct? it's it's, let's say, unusual. There is. As a matter of fact, I'm using fastparse. So fastparse is a library that was made by Lee Haoyi's Lee Haoyi. He's a pretty nice guy, and he did this thing. So it's not super functional under the hood, but it is pretty fast, and I am just discovering it because I thought, okay, I am trying to write a bot in Scala, And I had this idea where I wanted my users to be able to have a very simple language where they can have their own variables, methods, and call these methods and build on top of that. So that is something I am exploring right now, and I am really discovering it. Never had the chance to do some parsing, so that's why I'm struggling a bit right now. But it's fun, it's interesting, and I thought I would be sharing with others. And I have to admit, I have some Haskell books, but I haven't had the chance to read them yet. So my apologies in advance if I say some stupid, crazy stuff. Oh yes, yes it is. It absolutely is. But it seems to be a nice language. Personally, I was exposed to Elm, um, and I've heard about Hydrus. Oh, nice. Are you streaming as well? Because that would be interesting to take a look at the at a scheme interpreter. Nice. And when you say that you stream, you stream your Haskell? That would be fun. Oh, pure script, Haskell, or Unison. Nice. Yeah, I really love Elm. The only thing I have a problem with is the compatibility with non-Elm libraries. So sometimes you want to use an existing library somewhere else, and yeah, it's a bit of a problem. So here is it that I need to use double tildes then? Okay, so that is failing again. Parse failure, position 1 1 found +1 and plus -1, which I can take. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, yeah, that I'm happy with. That should not be valid. Do I have any other errors? No, I don't. So that is okay. I can get behind that. I can yeah, definitely. So I'm just going to change that from a from something that works to something that doesn't. Cool. Because yes, even for human that's not very. So I should not have the possibility to do a plus, yeah, and yeah, I need to have something before my plus, before I have some problems. Okay, let's try to run this again, and this time that should work. And it does work. Sweet. Okay, so I need to get rid of this value for E. Yes, I'm not using that. Where did I put this ugly beast? Right. I'm just gonna do a control C. Let's run a search. Value for E is here. And I am gonna read out this thing. Okay, perfect. Just taking some notes for myself for later, because I will need to review this and understand what I'm doing. Okay, so now this plus seems to be working. So I back to trying to add subtractions. Where was I? So I started to go down the rabbit's hole of these things. And so I was in my expressions, I had these subs and I wanted to have my subs have the same structure as my plus. So instead of having a list, I want to make sure that I have at least one element, which is going to be my head. And I want to have a tail, and that extends expression. So that means that this is an expression that can be evaluated. Okay, so now when I want to evaluate this, I've got these values here. So, okay, so now, so subtract sequence. So now I don't have just a sequence. So I have a head, which is going to be a value, same thing as before. And I have a tail, which could be empty, but I don't really care about this. So I don't have this thing anymore. I'm going to do the same thing as I did for my addition, which is going to be here. So I take this whole thing here, replace that like this. Yeah, so head as a value and then tail value. That's how I called them. Okay. And so, okay, good. So what I am doing is that is returning a string. So for each element, if that is a string, well, that is always going to be a string. I try to cast it to a big decimal. If I am not able to cast it as a big decimal, then I have this default here, which is 0. So if I try to do hello -1, that is going to give me -1 as the result, which makes sense to me at least. Not sure if that makes sense for everyone, but what is it saying? Okay, so now I've got the subtract sequence, which I am going to use. So if my expression is, so that is going to be the same thing here with a sub. And here, instead of add sequence, what was the name again? That was subtract sequence. Okay. Yeah, so it's gonna be a sequence of values. Where? Okay, yeah. So here, value, and then a sequence of values. Okay. Is it still complaining? What kind of problems do I have? So far, so good. Okay, so my expressions, I have this sub. I need to go back to my parsers to make sure that... Okay, so I have this sub like that. So why is it complaining here? Oh yeah, because I'm not trying to do a list. I'm trying to have the head and my tail. I'm not trying to append them together. Makes sense. Okay, so that seems to be working. Let's try to compile everything. Hopefully this time that should compile, unless I forgot something, which is, well, very likely considering my poor brain sometimes. Compiling, okay. Fingers crossed. Lots of warnings. Match may not be exhaustive. Ooh. Oopsie, sorry. So method plus in class character is deprecated, and ooh, I even have my test running, and everything seems to be fine. Does it mean that I can now add my tests for my... So I'm gonna add some tests for my subtractions. So I'm gonna copy the same thing as my additions, change a few things. So that is test 6 and 7. Evaluating subtractions, simple, and then doing the same evaluating subtractions a bit more advanced. So 1 minus 1, that would give me, oh, let's say 2 minus 1 is going to give me 1. That should still not work because that's the same thing as my as previously. So minus 1 minus 1 is going to give me so that's going to give me minus 2. 1 minus minus 1 is going to give me 2 this time. Hello minus 1 is going to give me minus 1. As I said, my strings are, I replace my strings with the value 0 if I can't parse them to a number, to a big decimal. And here 1 minus hello is going to give me 1 instead. And so hello minus world, which doesn't make any sense, should give me 0. I'm not doing string subtractions. Okay, so now I'm going to do something, same test as before. So 1 minus 1 equals 0. 1 and this one is going to be 0 again. And finally, that should be 0. Okay. And I need to reference these tests in the lists of tests that I want to run. So let's do that. Test. We said 6 and test 7. Okay, let's try to run everything. Okay, so it is not working. Why? So I am getting 1 and I am expected to be getting 1 and I am getting 2. I am expecting to be getting minus 2 and I am getting minus 1 instead. So okay, ooh. So expected string minus 1 and then I'm getting hello instead. Not good. 0 and I'm getting hello again. Not very good. Oh, I know for this one. I think I know why. That would be... Oh no, maybe not. Let's see. So in my value, so I try to do subtract sequence of my head and tail. Okay. So if I have head value match value string, okay, so that gives me that. and fold left. So if str to big decimal, so that is interesting. I should, what does str to big decimal do? So I try to take my string, cast it to string to decimal, and that gives me a try, well, which I then cast to an option. And if I am getting a none instead, I will be using the default that I pass here. So I should not be getting hello. Why am I getting hello? I should be getting at least 0. Interesting. So let's think about it. So I have. Should I try to? Hmm. And string to big decimal. Let's think about it. So should I try to test first if, you know what, let's go and so I am trying to get this string to big decimal. Let's separate these. So val first arg like that equal, and I'm going to take this thing here, and then val second argument is going to be the same thing for the argument for the second argument, as the name indicates. And so I want to do first argument minus second argument. And I will try to okay, so I am converting this to an str, to a string. Why not? I could try to do what I did with the addition, but that should be fine nonetheless. So here, let's see, convert system print line. So value for, so let's say E1. Oh, forgot to put the marker for the string interpolation is, and then I'm gonna put this. So dollar first argument. I'm gonna put a dash value for dollar $E2 is, and then second argument. Okay, so I will have a freaking lot of data out of it. I just want to see if at some stage, okay, AST for that. Interesting, it looks like it's not even called. It should be. That's a freaking ugly side effect. In my fold left, So what is happening? IST for hello -1 is struct the hello of hello. Hello dash word minus word world is str hello. That should not be the case, but I should at least see this. Did I forget in my parsers? So sub expression. So either I find a plus expression or a sub expression. Yeah, so that is sub. So I've got prefix expression, comma sub expression. And so if I only have E, I return E, otherwise I convert it to a sub of E and the following items. So that makes sense. So why? So plus is used here. Sub is used there. What is this prefix expression? So prefix expression is call expression and then call rep. So call here is, so that could be things in parentheses, okay. So I don't get why. So AST hello -1. Okay, so let's see. Here I've got val of t, string 1, and then sum. So t1, okay. Sum of val, u, and str1. And then it only finds ident of t. It doesn't see the -u after this. So why doesn't it see the -u? So I have my strings. So I must have made a mistake in my AST. I just don't see it. Why is it not seeing anything that comes after the minus? So, oh, I know. Because minus is meaningful. That is to separate a range. I need to escape the minus. So that's why if I do this backslash dash, in that case, that should be working. That's what I did here. Okay, so let's try to run this guy again. And no, still not working. Still not freaking working. Okay, why? So I have plus. So let's take a look at the examples. So I have AST for var t equal 1, var u equal 1, t minus u is, and again, I am not getting this sub. Why? Is it a question of, so let's think. Last expression. Maybe I don't need a p before. I think I do, but still not. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 fading tests. And so hello minus 1 is string of hello. No, 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 no. The AST is not. Oh, that's a pretty good. Thanks for the feedback. View. Where do I change that again? There is an option in IntelliJ to make this a bit bigger. And I keep forgetting it. Hang on, is that no, that's not it. Give me 1 sec, I'm just gonna Google that. Google CA. Yep. And I want to see increase IntelliJ font size. Change of font size, file settings, editor general. Okay. Oh, and there is so file settings, editor general, and yeah, change font size with Control plus mouse wheel. Is that better? So I have this -1, and it's only retrieving the first part, not the second. So what is the difference with plus? I think I did the same thing as before. Is that a question of should I? Let's try to do that. So all the tests related to addition are going to fail, but I just want to see if that is a problem with the how my patterns, my expressions I varied. No. Hey foot. So that is still not working. Okay, Control Z. So plus expression or sub expression. So that is still not working, and let's focus on the problems we have. So in my subtractions, it seems to only consider the first part of my expression, not the second part, not things that come after the minus. So that is a bit of a problem. So I am probably forgetting something somewhere. So if I have, let's see, plus and sub, that gets called, so plus gets called here. And I have a prefix expression, so that is the same as for my sub. class.rep. So here I am getting the representation for my plus. Okay. Is it because I am not getting the items? Did I forget? So plus is here and I seem to be capturing this. And sub rep. So why? Let's try to see if I get in here. Maybe that is so system print line, and I am gonna say, oopsie, passing through sub xpr with no with nil values. I should not. I don't think I have any. Well, I do have two cases. Two cases where, yeah, these two cases where I might be passing through this, but that would be it. Or even then, let's leave them for now and try to run this guy. So it will still be failing, but I will see if my logical branch is this one or not. It's not. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to my parsers. So here I'm gonna do the other one and do that. And so not with nil values, with values. I don't really care. Well, let's still display them. Items. Okay. So hopefully this one should appear. If not, that means that this sub-expression is not even called. And the sub-expression is not even called. So why is it not called? Am I not calling the... So in my tests, by default, I am using, if I don't indicate anything, I'm using expr. And expr is this one. So here I'm trying to find the first matching expression. So why is sub expression not found? Why is it not matching? Let's try. Let's try to see if it has to do something with this character. Not. Let's try to use the multiply for a second. I just want to see if that is a problem with the character itself. Sorry, with the character itself or with the expressions. I'm gonna change my test, and instead of minus, I'm gonna use the times symbol, trying to see if that is a problem with this character or not. Okay, almost there. And if that is a problem with the character, I will need... this is Scala 2. I tried Scala 3, but I had a few bugs, so I decided to use Scala 2 instead. The bugs were, so in Scala 2 we have some warnings. Okay, it's still not working. In Scala 2 we have some warnings if we are trying to reference a variable before it gets initialized, and we didn't get that in Scala 3, and to be frank I didn't want to spend too much time trying to troubleshoot the problem, so that's why I reverted back to Scala 2. Okay, so that is still not working, which means that this is not a problem with the symbol. Or maybe, oh, let's try, let's see what, because I think star could also be considered as a, I'm gonna try with a dollar symbol instead, because I think star could be considered as a special, oh no, star, dollar as well can be considered as one of these. What character could I use? Can I use at? I don't think at means anything. I just want to make sure that this is not a meaningful character. Okay. I'm just gonna leave these ones to minus for now. I don't. They're probably fading. I'm gonna fail, but that's all right. And I need to go back to my parsers and use at instead. Oh, and I didn't pay attention, but that's the editor doesn't change for all the windows. My apologies, Chiroptical. I was so focused on my stuff that I didn't think about it. Okay, so that is still not working. Huh. I wish I could find. So let's think about it. Why? So back to my character. So backslash minus. Okay, I'm gonna replace everything with a minus instead. So that is not because of this character. I don't think it is. Okay. So why is it not? So I sub is sub expression. Hmm. I wonder, can I? I'm just going to go to the settings and try to see if I can change the font everywhere, not just maybe in fonts then. Menlo, current edit font, Menlo 12, okay. So let's say size, I'm going to say probably 16 should be fine, or maybe 18. Okay, let's go from one to the next. Yeah, seems to be a bit better. So in my passes, why is sub plus works fine, but not sub? That doesn't make any sense to me. Okay. Hmm. So Why? Let's see. I'm gonna try to see if I can find some other examples. Maybe there is. Usually we've got things about like calculators implemented or something similar to. Okay, so beyond its scope, how to and optimizing compiler works, database, scrappings, programming. So that is the one I'm using. Build pipelines, work with JSON, subprocesses, files, pretty printing, binary serialization, fast parse. Hopefully this one should have add sub expression. So div. Okay, so I can have car in plus or minus. So let's think. So that seems to be fastparse 1, which is not the one I'm using. I want to use fastparse 2 with a minus. So div more, so fastparse 2. So I've got this car in, and I want to capture this. So div more, and div more being here. Then that, go in, and I want to pass it through map eval. So what is eval? So so go in 09 029. Yeah, that is the difference. So here is using car in, and with this, do I have eval, the definition of some project in there? No. Partial evaluation? No. Debugging and profiling? No. I want to have. So I've got Ammonite, SJSONNet, mill. No, I want to have some sample project that I can look at. So, okay. So fastparse changes the public API from 1. Okay, val have changed into devs, so we're using methods instead of variables. Is the reference implementation in the building a language thing? You mean this this one? No, hang on. Is it the one? Yeah, easy parsing with parser combinators. No, that's not the one. This one is from 2016. So I must have opened an old one. The one I'm using is 2020 something. 2019 and 2020. Yeah, that was the one. Reference implementation in the building a language thing. Okay. I'm gonna try to see Control F. Is there any reference to GitHub? Well, let's take a look at Lee's GitHub. So we've got MicroPy, Metascala, Scala Rocks, AutoWire, Scala Text Workbench. He is a very productive developer. So let's see. Scala Rex, Metascala. We should at least have the Scala, the fast parse, because I think it does belong to him. Or maybe not. Maybe it has a project of its own. What's the name again? I'm gonna Google it. Fast parse Scala. So that's the one here. Oh, hang on. Someone just rang at my door. I'm gonna be putting this stream on hold for a few seconds, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So Scatterpar's demo. Is it? So that is supposed to be parsing stuff? Not quite sure. So we've got fast parse, Scala parse. Oh, Scala parse is the dedicated parser to parse Scala. So he had some fun and decided to be able to parse Scala. And Python parse is the same. So what we are interested in is fast parse. CSS parse is a parser for CSS. Perf test project. README. I'm sure there must be something because I mean calculators are the when you do a parser, the calculator example is like the hello world of parsers. So there must be something about it. So let's see. Right now, this one is to parse Scala. Not interested. White space, no JS export. Yuck. So I've got a plus, a times, I should have somewhere. So that is to parse JSON, CSS, Python. No. Okay. Oh, I'm just thinking of something. I'm gonna try because he was using in his example car in, I think. So let's try to do that. Does it maybe does it changes something? I have no idea. Let's try this. So car in, and then in his example it was using plus and the escaped minus. So let's try that. Maybe it won't change anything, but at least I can try. Yeah, still not. Okay, at least I tried. So back to this documentation, fast bars. Yeah, Foot. I'm using this library that we have right now on the screen, which is called fastbars, and it's a Scala specific library to to parse texts, and I'm trying to use it. So we have some tests. Okay, maybe the tests are going to be interesting. Source. So we have a main math test, parsing test, type test, util test. Example test. If that is an example, I am interested. Okay, so failures, trace. No. So I am testing the repeats option either and okay, so these are the same tests as what we have in the documentation. Let me show you the documentation maybe. So these are the same tests as what we have here. If I probably search an AB like that, I should be able to find. Yes. Okay. So in character. All right. So let's try and run a search for minus. 53 characters. So any car, success minus and so if I try to parse this, it will give me, okay, no. Hello dash world, negative, look ahead. No. Opaque digit, car in 09, letter twice, means that this needs to be repeated, I guess. Error message, okay. So that is for opaque 09, A to Z, A to Z. Delimiter no cut, okay, no. Debugging, cuts, log simple, augment, no. Yeah. Okay, nothing obvious here. There probably is something somewhere. Let's try math tests. So, okay, so eval. And I have a tree with ints and sequence data. Okay. The best options. So that is my okay. So here at sub, okay, that is the same thing as we had before. And then at sub and then end. So this thing here means so if I pass 1 plus 1, that is going to work. 1 plus 1 times 2. So this thing seems to be working, but he hasn't used the same structure as I did. Because here that waits for something before, something after. so eval wrap, okay, div more, and so that gives me an int followed by a sequence of string and ints, and then I take the first element and I do a fold. So that could be either times, forward slash, plus, and minus. And minus here is escaped. And that is what gets returned here as a string. So what it tries to do, yeah, that is a very simple example because, like, for example, his numbers, there is only one number. We have parentheses, which is good. And then factor is either a number or a parenthesis. Okay, if I... that is very frustrating. Okay, so 1 plus 1 times is an error. Okay, that makes sense. No, I think I should have... probably should have remained easy and try not to go straight for the variables and functions, because they work, but not the subtraction, which is quite annoying. And again, sorry, I forgot to make this a bit bigger. So I need a character that is either a plus or a minus. Let's try to switch gears. So right now, what I have is I separated my plus and my sub. What if I try to, instead of separating these, I am going to create an operator. So I am going to comment these for a tiny bit, because I don't want to delete them. I want to, or maybe I'm just going to comment the subtraction for now, commit everything, and then do my changes. Oh, just comment everything. So get... okay, so work on, and here, so permissions is done. Work on text parsing. And since I'm all by myself, I can just put a marker here for me to remember. Subtraction is not working. Okay, let's commit and let's push. Good. All right, so now I want to do some modifications. So I want to change this to, we're going to go back to something quite similar to what we had in the other one, in the example. So here I want, oops. So I want to have backpacks. I'm going to get rid of this sub, and it's going to break that. Okay, not to worry. This one I don't need anymore. So let's see first if it will. My test should be failing, but because now it should be considered as an addition. So let's run this. So 2 minus 1 is going to give me 3 instead of giving me 1. Yes, okay, so that is working. So now this one gets called in here, x plus. So can I? Let's see. I am going to capture here. I want to capture this argument. So it's going to break a few things. So now it gives me a sequence of string and expressions. Aha. Okay, I think I'm starting to get it. So it was finding the prefix expression, and okay, so now I've got these. So I'm just going to rename this plus to an operator. Or even a binary operator, I guess. Yeah. Binary operator. Oh, maybe I should have done the refactor binary operator like that. So it gives me now a string, a tuple, a list of string and expressions. So what I want to do is I want to take the heads, and yeah, okay, so now in my value, so this I'm not going to be using this one. I'm just going to modify instead. So where is it? It's gonna break here. So now I have my head and the tail. And the tail, so sub here I don't need. So here right now I have some problems because I have this tail.map of evaluate string and expression. So what I want to do is, okay, so I'm gonna take this sequence of tuples. So case operator string and expression, and I want to evaluate the expression. Good. But I still want to keep the operator because I will need this after. So that gives me string value. Okay. So now in add sequence, let's rename this. I'm going to call it apply operator instead. Apply operator like this. And instead of taking a sequence of value, it's going to take a sequence of string and value. Good. So let's start. I'm going to do this transformation after, or maybe not. Let's see. Case OP for operator, and then that, and then I'm going to call OP. So right now I'm just extracting the string, but I keep the association between my operator and the associated string. Like that. Cool. So now E is not an element, that's actually a tuple. So I am going to extract my tuple val operator and E, that is my element. So I extract it from my tuple. So I have my string 2, I have string 2 big decimal. And what I want to do is now I want to, so if my operator match like this, so case, so the first one is going to be case if my operator is a plus, then in that case I want to do that. Okay. Oh, I have some, and if my case otherwise I am in my otherwise I am in a subtraction, so let's do the same thing again. E1 E2 match. Okay, so case sum, that's we're gonna take the same thing here, so that so here, if that doesn't work, then I want to return, let's see. So first of all, if both of them are big decimals, I can do n1 minus n2 and then return to string. Then if the first one, so sum of n1 and then none, in that case I want to return n1 to string. Case, so here if I've got a none for the first one and a sum of n2, in that case I want to do n2 dot to string, and that can be simplified afterwards. So right now I'm just going with the flow. Case none, and here I am just going to return 0. Okay, so there is an error somewhere. Oh yeah, forgetting to close the parentheses. Let's try to reformat everything. I'm gonna try to run this guy. So I'm running it on the command line because usually if there is any compilation error, it gets a bit more detailed than the one I've got in IntelliJ. Fingers crossed. Okay, I have an error. So what did I forget? Value plus is not a member of object. Oh yeah, yeah. So I must have forgotten to modify the name here. So that is in value plus is not a member. That is in passes 2829. Okay, so passes 28. Okay, and I called it instead binary operator. Oh, I see that I can get rid of this sub here. All right. It apparently did compile on IntelliJ. And the advanced now is passing. Yeah, but it should be super low. It's mostly for me. Thanks, Chiroptical. All right, so right now I am getting a -1 instead of a 1. And I just have one error. That's good. AST for hello -1 is binary operator string hello -1. Okay, so where is that? Hello -1, hello -1. So that one should give me, so hello should be replaced by, oh yeah. Yeah. I made a mistake in my operator. That's, yes, here. So n2 dot neg. Oh, can I, maybe I need to do this, that, like this, -2. Yeah. So that makes perfect sense. And it's all green. Yes. Yes. Oh, yeah. All right. So what I did as a recap is, oh yeah. Oh, that feels good. That feels so good. So right now, instead of doing plus like this, what I'm doing is I'm capturing both these operators, and I put this exclamation mark to say that I'm capturing it. So as a matter of fact, I will need to rename this guy. So operators or binary operator. Good. So I am capturing these two. And when I try to use these operators here, now it is going to give, I am going to pass it as a binary operator. This binary operator has a head, which is the first element, followed by a couple of string, which indicates what is the operator that I'm using, and the associated expression. Sweet. Yes. Oh god, I thought I would have to end this stream without it working. That feels good. Oh, yes. Okay, so now I want to do the same thing now with multiply, which should be straightforward. So let's do that. Okay, so values. So I'm just going to make this. So by default, it's going to be like that. So here I want to be I want to get a minus. I don't want to have anything else. So passes passes. So in my binary operators, I want to have plus, minus, multiply, and divide it. Okay, so now I just need to go back to my values. So when I evaluate, I want to have, so case, like this. For now, I'm just going to leave it as the default. So multiply is going to be the default. And so here, E2 and E1. So if both of them are numbers, I want to return this multiplied. Then I have a number and a string. So a number and a string. And probably I can change this. E2 is ACC and okay, so E2. No, E1 is ACC, E2 is E. So this one really is E1. No, E1. God, I'm getting tired now. So the unary minus, that's actually a very good question. I did cover it partially, meaning that I have it here if I define my integer like this. However, you're right. When I will be working on variables, I will need to find a way to define the unary minus. But for now, trust me, I had so much problem with the binary one that I will cross this bridge when I get there. All right, so here, what do I want to do? Nah, don't worry, don't worry. I perfectly understand, and you're absolutely right. I need to keep that in mind. So now, if this, should I try to repeat my string multiple times? Oh, that might be fun. Yeah, I want to get the string multiplied. So E2 is E. So E here is going to be E dot, do I have a list dot repeat? No. There is something to do a repeat. What is that again? Sequence dot repeat. Seg dot repeat. No. Oh, there is something to repeat a string multiple times. Let's see. Do I sequence of E dot repeat? Is that oh, I can't remember what that is. Okay, let's do a search. Scala repeat string. There must be something. I know that there's something. So card a string to repeat a character. I don't really care about a character. However, repeat character, no. For comprehension, list.fill. List.fill. That's the one, I think. Yes. So let's try that. List.fill. And I indicate how many elements I want. So in that case, n1. And I indicate the element in question that I want to repeat, which is going to be my E2, which is my E. And then I do a dot mk string, I guess. Oh, why? What is it complaining about? Why won't it work? And of course, IntelliJ doesn't give me any error message. I'm going to try to compile with the command line. Hopefully I will have more information about this. So found big decimal and required int. Oh, yeah. Yeah, makes sense. Makes perfect sense. I think that there is a 2int. What is the difference between 2int exact and 2int? 2int exact, this big decimal 2int, checking for lost information if has a non-zero fractional part or is out of the possible range for an int result, then a Java lang error. Oh, no, 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 no. I don't want to. No, no, no. No. Let's do a 2int and not a big deal if I'm losing information here because that is just for fun. And I make a string out of it. Here I will do the same thing. So here that's going to be n2 and I want to multiply my accumulator. And what if I have two strings and I try to multiply them? Should I do a like a plus? What should be the behavior for two strings that I try to multiply? Foot, are you still there? In JavaScript, what happens if you try to multiply two strings? Do you have any error, or is it going to give you some kind of weird JavaScript only result? I mean, just in case you're still around. Oh, you have no idea. If you can, I would appreciate, because I'm trying to see, I'm trying to get ideas. I don't want to return errors just for this. Not a number. Yes, okay. So probably I should try to return a an error in that case. So I had here an error, okay, with an optional detail. So I am going to return instead error. No. Oh man, dang it. Oh cry. Oh, for crying out loud. Okay. And it's really because I have to go soon, so I am gonna do something that I cringe just to think of doing. But I'm gonna throw an exception, catch it. So throw new exception here, and let's say trying to multiply two strings. Okay, like that. So trying to multiply two strings, and I'm gonna pass so $ACC. I need to put the S for the string interpolation, and the other one was E for my element. Okay, so I am going to surround this whole ugly thing with a try so that I can catch this. And I want to do a, can I do a fold? Yes, I can. So if I have an error, then in that case, so if everything goes fine, I have an str and I cast it as a value.string. If I have some problems, I have an exception and I cast it as a value.error. And I'm going to take the exception.getMessage. And then I take the details of this exception afterwards. And I need to separate these two. So now, yeah. Well, it's not perfect. Well, I mean, it could last for a bit longer, and actually that would work for my divisions as well. Let's implement divisions. So times and okay, so I'm gonna take this guy. I'm gonna make which one should be my default? Should it be plus? Well, yeah, let's say division is going to be my default. Okay, so trying to divide two strings. Here, that's going to be I am going to try to divide a string. And so the string that I want to divide is E by N1. This one is trying to divide a string. So this one is going to be the accumulator by, oh, I forgot to put the dollar $n2. And so here I need to make sure I need to have two cases. So if n2 is not 0, I can do that. And that's not going to be so there. And otherwise, okay, so here if it is equal to 0, like that, and I'm gonna throw in exception. So trying to divide n1 by 0. Okay, so the default is going to be the division. Let's add a few tests. So that is subtraction. I'm going to do the same thing for multiplication. Multiplications, and 2 times 1 is let's do all the modifications first, and then I will do my calculations for the expected values. Hello times 1. I will need to add some extra. Okay, so t times, that is a bit more advanced. Okay, like this, and then so this one should be 1. 1 times 1, 1. 1 times 1 and 1. Okay. So here this one should be hello. Let's even use 2. That way I can. So hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. And this one should be starting with the error or something. Okay, I guess I will see. Okay, so -1 here, 1 -1. Okay. So these were tests 8 and 9. So let's add them. So we said 8 and where is 9? 9 is here. Okay, so let's try to test my multiplications. And multiplication is going to fail, but because of one test. The one that has an error when I try to... Oh, actually not. So there is one that is returning 2 instead. Oh yeah, 2 times 1 should be 2, not 1. And what about the other one? So error. So that is the exact thing that I am trying to get. Copy, and this one is going to be an error. Cool. Okay, I'm going to try to do the same thing now for divisions. All right, so evaluating divisions. Divisions. This one was a multiplication. And so this is test number 10 and 11. So 2 divided by 1 should be 2. This one should break. -1 divided by 1 should be -1. 1 divided by -1 should be -1. Hello divided by 2 should be an error. And I'm going to get some error messages from that. Okay, so this one, 1 divided by 1, 2 divided by 1, 1, and 1 divided by 1, 1. Okay. Need to add them to my list of tests. So tests 0, 1, 10. Where is it? 10. And I need to test 0, 1, 11. Like that. Okay. I'm going to try to run this. And the divisions should be failing, but only because of the errors, because I haven't copied. Yes. So this one, trying to divide a string hello by 2. And then I have this, the details, so that's great. The other one is trying to divide a string hello by 2. Oh, I must have made a mistake in the name. Trying to divide two string hello and world. Great stuff. Okay. So I must have made a mistake in the copy paste somewhere. However, so let's go back to the values here. So trying to divide a string. Oh no, trying to divide a number by a string. Or trying to divide, let's say, ACC by a string like that. Okay. So I'm trying to divide. That should make a bit more sense. Okay, so right now instead of returning hello, hello, trying to divide hello by a string 2. Yeah. Okay, so I must have made a mistake. ACC is which one? ACC is E1 and E2 is E. Okay. So trying to divide, okay, I made a mistake. So this one, this error message is the one that should go here. And that one is the one that should go there, I think. To trigger, trying to divide n1 by a string which is e, trying to divide a string ACC, my accumulator, by n2. Is it still gonna... and as you indicate, Foot, it's probably gonna remain for a long time like this. Alright, so trying to divide a string hello by 2. Yes, perfect. So that is exactly what I want. Where is it? Hello divided by 2, so that would be the one here. And the other one is trying to divide 2 by a string. Hello, yeah. Sweet, okay. And finally, error, trying to divide 2 strings. Okay. So now everything is going to be green. Let's cross fingers. Yes. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Whew, right on time. I'm only 5 minutes late. Okay. All right. Oh, I feel so good now. So I am going to be able to do all of this. Sweet, sweet, sweet. So next thing I'm going to do, probably tomorrow evening if I've got some time, is I'm going to try to see if I can implement built-in methods. Like for example, I want to create a method to give me the current time. I will also probably built-in methods and environment variables. So environment variables, for example, is going to be the name of the user. So whenever a user types a command, he should be able to reference, like for example, dollar user or $me, and he will have his name indicated in there. So it will be displayed, and he won't have it even if he changes his name. That would be displayed this way. It doesn't have to change every time the command if it changes his name. Ooh, so we are getting there. I am so happy. I am so happy I'm able to finish on a positive note. So yeah, thanks again everyone. Foot and Chiroptical, it was a pleasure to have you around. Talk to you guys pretty soon. And yeah, Foot, I guess I will be seeing you on Grimly's stream. Chiroptical, I don't know when you're streaming, but I will have a look at what you're doing. So have a good one, you guys, and talk to you soon. Cheers, bye.